Hello, and welcome to the TalkBGKY podcast, the official podcast of the City of Bowling Green. My name is Kendra Woodard. I'm an officer with the Bowling Green Police Department, and I'm happy to be here with Sergeant Hatchett and Sergeant Boyette.
Thank you for having us.
So I'm super excited to be here. Of course, we're starting off Black History Month. We just finished wrapping up a video we wanted to create for Black History Month. I was offered a temporary position as one of our community resource officers. And when I was offered that, I kind of thought about what I would like to see, what I'm passionate about. And on the top of the list was, of course, Black History Month, and I also wanted to celebrate other cultural months. So stay tuned for that. But I think it's important to kind of highlight the people that I work with, especially like the two that's in front of me, and the impact they've made on this department, especially for me as a Black woman. With Sergeant Hatchett, she was the first female on the CRT team, as well as the first female officer on our motor unit. And of course, Sergeant Boyette was the first Black woman to be a police officer at the Bowling Green Police Department. So it's a huge honor to be with them, and I just always want to shine light and celebrate them and the work that they do. Sergeant Boyette, so you were the first Black female officer here in Bowling Green, Kentucky at the Bowling Green Police Department. Can you tell me about that experience and what made you want to enter this role and how it was for you?
So it was just, I guess, happenstance that I was the first Black female. I went to Western Kentucky, and they had just started the intern program. And I was one of the first of the three to go through our internship. And I wanted to be in law enforcement, so I interned here. I liked the environment, and I applied, still really not realizing that I would be the first Black female. Mm-hmm. And then when I got in it and, got into it, and I was like, well, oh, wow. So the intention, I didn't go into it to pave the way, but that was the position that I was blessed to fall into. And it's been an adventure. It's been, we've come so far. And it was kind of moving to see the picture with all our Black officers, because when I started, it was just me, Chief Delaney, and retired Sean Gerbert. That's it. And then Lieutenant Colonel Burnham was hired about a year after I was.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful as well. I think it's important to have representation and show other Black women, Black men that it is possible. Just think outside the box. You can also have a career in law enforcement. So, like, when you started, I guess, was there any fears or hesitation that you had when you entered it?
I mean, there's always a little fear, right?
Yeah.
Like, when it dawned on me, like, oh, wait a minute, you're the first Black female. I remember I saw... then he was Officer Delaney. I saw him out one night, and I asked him, I said, man, like, is it okay? And he said, and he reassured me that I was making a good decision. There were I didn't feel like a lot of people could relate to me, obviously, because I was young and a Black female, and we did have other women here, but they were a little older. Mm-hmm. We weren't from the same place in life, so I felt like I had to do a lot of conforming to everyone else and not be myself, because I was afraid, well, if I be myself and I listen to, at the time, I like hip-hop music or whatever, I'd be stereotyped. Mm-hmm. And that was some pressure I put on myself.
Yeah, I think I like that you mentioned that, because although we are different from everyone we work with, it's important for people that we come in contact with on the street to see someone like you. Mm-hmm. They might feel more comfortable opening up to you or something like that, because you can relate to them. I guess I'll switch over to you, Sergeant Hatchett. Can you tell me about your experience, like what got you into law enforcement?
Well, I originally wanted to design video games when I was younger, because I'm a gamer, but then when I actually got to college, I realized how much math was involved with that, and I'm not good with math. I still like gaming and built my own PC and all that stuff, but my dad, he became a police officer at Western Kentucky University when I was younger, and he originally did it because Western had such great benefits, and we had just moved to Kentucky from Washington State, and so he originally joined for the benefits, and then at the time your dependents could go to Western with half tuition, and so he was thinking about the family stuff, and he ended up staying. But when I got to college, I became an explorer over there and started working a lot with that agency, and I grew up in that agency, but I was doing ride-alongs all the time, going out and doing stuff with them, working the football games, the tailgating, and being able to work with my dad and see him in a position of authority in that world was really cool to see because he was a big role model for me. He retired as a lieutenant colonel over there. And about my freshman year, toward the end, I was like, oh yeah, this is what I want to do. And of course, I heard all the war stories and stuff. Heard about people that worked at this agency that I hadn't even met yet, like Ernie Steff, and I became really sure about it. And I don't remember how I got linked up with Danica, but she actually became like my mentor and helped me figure out like what I need to do to get hired. I remember going to her house for the first time, and it was her and Quinna. Quinna used to work in HR, and they were like, "Yo, you got this. Like, we gonna help you. We gonna help you get where you need to be." And then I got hired, and I don't think it was really real to me either. Like that, she was the only one that looked like me. Like it didn't really dawn on me for a very long time. Kind of the same as her. Like that's not why I did it, but then when you're here, like we got each other and we stuck together, always remained friends, good friends, and she's been a mentor through my entire process.
I love that. So thank you for sharing that experience and what got you introduced to this career. So I want to kind of talk about the day-to-day process. I know you are a detective, but you're actually a sergeant in our criminal investigations division, and you're also a sergeant on patrol. So could y'all just go down and just talk to me about the day-to-day life?
So I work in the criminal investigative division, and it's much different. I did 17 years on patrol and supervised several of those years. So it was like switching gears to go up to CID, that's what we call it. And I oversee all the investigative incidents, our major crimes per se. All of the felonies and serious felonies against person come upstairs. So I oversee those. So now if I come out on a scene, it's after the dust settles. Is where Nicole, she's there when everything's going on. So we come in after, and I basically just want to make sure that our team has what they need and just a solid role in leadership, keeping the unit glued together. And I tell people it's the best job in the department. I love it. Some people get a little intimidated by it because if you weren't a detective, you go up there as a supervisor and you don't really know anything. They all know more than you do, whereas you're a supervisor on patrol. I've been doing this job for 17 years, so I know what's going on. So making that adjustment, you got to be humble and just admit, I'm here to learn. And that was the coolest part about moving to that position, is getting to learn and see the different side of the house. So it's good. And, I still, when it comes to victims or victims' families, when I show up as a black female and I walk in that room, I could see the comfort. We had a juvenile that was murdered in 2025, and I still speak with his grandmother to this day. And that kind of thing makes me feel good. And some of our parents of murder victims, like as a supervisor in CID, the detectives are working case after case after case. But these families, they're still needing that communication. Where's my kid's case? So that's where I come in. And I just sit and have those conversations on the phone with the parents. In reality, it's a majority of those families are African American. And so it's good to just relate and give them comfort. And I can say without a doubt, we're going to work a case till it's to the end of the road. It doesn't matter who you are. And I think a lot of people may be wondering, policing, do they take a murder of a young black male as serious as a young white male? And I can say without a doubt they do. They lose sleep. They spend time away from, but they take it personal. And to be able to say that from my heart on the phone to family members, that means a lot. So
I love that. Thank you. And what about you, Hatchet?
The day-to-day, I always say it's a lot of putting out small fires, some fires, big fires, a lot of small fires, and it could be from, this person needs a piece of equipment, or, as soon as I start the shift, there's complaints or whatever. But it's kind of the same as Danica, but in a different job capacity. I still facilitate things that they need, but like right now, because of the weather, like I'm already thinking ahead, like if we get stuck on something where we're holding a perimeter on a house or whatever, because it's so cold, I'm gonna have to switch people out, every 15, 20 minutes. Do we have hot hands? Do we have water? Things like that. And because we're always driving and we're always outside, I have to think about those types of things. And I have seen some of the same thing, like when I show up, if somebody wants to talk to a supervisor, there is a sense of ease when I show up. If the color of my skin is something that comforts them, you can tell that. I've been able to get across to people and de-escalate things because of being a black female. Sometimes it's almost like in my head, it's almost like you want to apologize for that, but it's not something to apologize for, because you were able to control a situation because of the way that you look, because you could relate to them in a way that somebody else may not be able to. And it's a strength really on the street. Some people see us and take offense to it because they may not like the police, and that's fine too. But as a supervisor, for the most part, it's about making sure that my people have what they need, no matter what that be, whether it be something emotional, physical, or equipment. You have to know your people and what they need individually too, and that plays a big part in getting the job done, them being able to do the job, and then me being able to do it well. I like to think that I do it well, but I also say that I have the best squad in the agency, but
I'll give her the best squad on patrol. I'll rival that.
And patrol.
I'm pretty passionate about my guys and gals in CID.
And you should be. If you don't
Yeah.
feel that way, if you don't take pride in your shift and your squad and the people that you work with, because they don't work for me, I work for them, and I work with them, and I make sure that things go smooth so they can do what I know they're capable of doing, and it's my job to make sure that they know that they're capable too.
Thank you. Yeah, and I've heard nothing but great things about both of you all as leaders. And I also like that y'all kind of hinted on the power that there is within diversity. So speaking of leadership, both of y'all have completely different roles as far as leadership, but what do y'all think makes a good leader, and what kind of advice would you provide to someone, like especially a woman in law enforcement or a person of color in law enforcement that is aspiring to be a leader?
I'll tell every female that I come across when they're getting into this job, be you. Because if you get into this and you try to be one of the guys, or you try to be somebody you're not, it is going to show really quick. And people respect real. That's what they want. And I think that's why me and Nicole have the success that we do, because we're both real. I'm not going to beat around the bush. Why? So be you and be real, and don't forget where you come from.
Yeah.
Because we all started out here on the front lines humping that black and white, So don't forget where you come from.
Amazing advice.
Yeah. I always told the officers, the new female officers that I train, because everybody comes in different shapes and sizes, like, you're a female, so you are automatically, that is a weakness to some people in law enforcement. It's a weakness to some people on the street. I was like, but it only matters what you believe and how you see yourself. If you see yourself as small, well, other people will too. And everybody may not be able to bench 200 pounds, but you better make somebody else believe that you can. And if you have that confidence, it translates to people. And there's a difference between being confident and trying to fake it till you make it. And on the street, like, people pick up on that too.
Absolutely.
So you have to know the difference. And if you have a weakness and you know that you're not stronger than most of the people that you're encountering, well, I guess you better get in the gym.
Thank you for that. And then back to you, DK, if you don't mind talking about it. You are a mother of 3.
Yes.
So could you kind of share your experience about being in law enforcement, having kids at home, how do you balance that?
Oh, it's a ride. So I have a 10-year-old and 2 5-year-olds. So with my first child, I was in patrol. And there's a sacrifice. He sacrificed, my husband sacrificed. I missed probably the first 2 years of his life because I was on B shift with a newborn. So that was hard, and I remember I would drop him off to work in second shift, and my husband was in the military, so I would have to drop him off to people, and I felt like I was shuttling in the guilt that I had. And at the time I was like, my 20 years, I'm out of here. I'm not going to do this, like, I just couldn't wait to get to the finish line. And so That was hard because you got to have people you trust. And in our line of work, when it comes to trusting people with your children, that circle gets real small because we see so much bad, right? It was a family element here. I had like Scott and Samantha Webb. They would pick Ashton up and keep him, like they were like his second parents. So I had the thin blue line came through when I had the twins.
Speaking of the twins, you remember when I picked them up and I do not know what to do. I took them straight to my mom and dad. And I was like, "Help! This one won't stop crying."
Yes.
This
So
one's
don't let
fine."
Hatchet babysit your kids.
Well,
I mean, I can get through it,
Yes.
but
She
I got
did.
like a limit.
Yes. She did.
It was two, though.
It was two of them. It was two of them, and my daughter was off the chain.
And I'm a twin.
Yeah, I felt so bad. She screamed from the time they picked her up. But I had,
gosh.
but like people stepped in, and they were. I always had family, the blue family to step in and help me, and we got stories like that to laugh about. But the twins, I was in CID, so it's a little bit more stable, and they haven't had to sacrifice as much of me as Ashton did. And to them, like your kids, like they don't know anything different. When I go to school and I'm in uniform and everybody's like, "Oh, Ashton, your mom's a police officer." To him, it's like, but I can see a little bit how proud he is. Like, that's my mom. That's my mom. So that feels really good. That the sacrifice was worth it now that he can understand and see that, and he did really well because they don't know any different and kids are resilient. It's harder on us, but it is a hurdle. It is a hurdle because it's shift work. We're open 24/7, so we don't get that luxury 9 to 5, and daycares aren't open 24 hours. So you got to have a lot of people in your camp that you can depend on, and I did.
Absolutely. I love that.
Through the screaming and the diapers and everything. But
Yeah.
she showed out when Nicole picked
I think she was the problem.
My parents
Nicole was the
raised
problem.
twins, so I knew they was going to help me with something. I may not be the first call, but if you need me, I'll be around.
Yeah.
I love that. So it takes a village.
It
and
takes a
sometimes that
village.
village is within the police department.
Yes,
So I
yes,
love that you were
yeah.
able to develop good relationships where you have people that you can depend on. And to kind of wrap things up, could you all just kind of give us a little words of advice or anything that you would like our community to hear, especially about Black History Month?
For anybody out there that's thinking about becoming a police officer, especially, if you're a Black female, come on and join the team. Like, it's been one of the best decisions I've made in my life. There's been ups and downs, no doubt, but it feels good to be a part of the community and be that sense of comfort and to look like our community.
Absolutely.
I would tell someone to not let anybody treat their gender or their race like it's a handicap for them, because it's absolutely a strength and it will always be a strength. But, know that you're going to have to work a little bit harder than some other people that don't look like you, and that's just the way that the world is. But don't let that stop you. Let it drive you, because that's what drove me to do the harder things here, like CRT, and then becoming a team leader on the SWAT team, doing motor. It wasn't so I could be the first. It was because I knew that other females didn't want to do it because it was hard, or they didn't know how to do it or how to go about doing it. And so I did that for me, but I also did it for people that aspired to that just didn't know where to go to or how to get it started, didn't have an example to follow yet. And that's two of the things that I'm most proud of doing here. And I got a lot of experience, and I learned a lot about myself too. Do things for you, but don't let any of that stop you, no matter what people say. And if you get a reward or you earn something like that on a specialized unit, know that you did it yourself, and your gender or your race didn't do it for you, because it sure did not ride a motor for me. It sure did not ride a motor for me.
How was that?
It wasn't in the gym for me.
Too easy, right?
What?
A motor.
Oh, no. I think I told Danica, I said, I might die.
It was such an achievement.
I might
We
die.
through a surprise, congratulatory party for her
did.
at the end. We surprised her at overtime
nice.
because we knew, we knew it pushed her, but she did it.
Yeah.
She did
The
it.
chief was out there several times trying to talk me up, and he's a master on a motorcycle, and I'm like, man, this hurts. My body hurts. But after it was over, I was like, this is why I did it.
And I think that's the key. This is why we do it. So amazing. Thank y'all so much for sitting and talking with me. Y'all are definitely an inspiration to me. Hopefully y'all inspire someone out there that's listening. Well, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Stay on the lookout for our Black History Month video and other videos and events to come. And we want to thank you for listening to the Talk BGKY podcast. Have a good day.